Hello, assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is my first time, maybe my second time, doing a YouTube live. Usually I do Facebook lives, and it's been a while since I've done those as well. But a lot of you have been asking me about how to make coffee in a Moka pot, which is the stovetop espresso maker that I use, and I have posted it on my Instagram, and let me just turn this notification off because that's annoying. Okay, so I posted it on my Instagram about this being one of my most precious favorite gadgets, because it makes the best coffee, and it's portable, and it's space saving. And this is the Moka pot, which I grew up with in an Italian family. This is how I thought all coffee was made, because for the longest time, that's what I've seen in my grandparents' home. And then my mom started making regular coffee in this pot. So not just espresso coffee, but regular American coffee. And so as I grew older and started actually drinking coffee in college, this became just not only iconic, but just practical, because it doesn't take up a lot of counter space. So I really never liked the big gadgets with they're just so cumbersome, and I just love these, and I have but I actually have like 5 of them, and they're spread out. One is in Turkey, one is in the U.S. I think my mom has my super big one. I mean, we have a lot of them, but there's small ones, there's medium-sized ones, and there's huge ones. So that now I'm at my middle-sized one. And when I travel, I kid you not, I stick this in my suitcase because I have to have this coffee. I mean, not for like a day or two traveling, but like extended, travel periods. And I know that I'm going to be around maybe people who don't drink it, or I'm going to be staying in my own place or whatever. I have to bring this with me, so it goes in my suitcase. So that's my little background. But people have asked me, how do you make it? And because they're kind of confused about the contraption of it and sort of the science of how it works. And it's really super easy. Italian invention, and I don't know all the details, but I just know how it works and how I like it. So it's very simple. You screw the bottoms off, or unscrew the bottom portions off, and you fill this part. So there's a filter here, and you fill this part with water. Now, I do cool water. Don't do hot water. I do cool water. And I fill it, basically up to here, not to this very top. And then stick this, I guess you call it a filter. I'm not really sure what you call it, but just stick this in and make sure that, I don't know if you guys could actually see, but you're sort of making sure that the water isn't coming up too much. I mean, a little bit of water on the bottom is fine. I actually think it makes it a little less bitter, but not too much water coming up, because there's little holes in this sort of like sieve or something. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, so now you add your coffee. Like I said, my mom uses this, she puts regular coffee, not espresso coffee, in this, and it comes out, because it's just a percolator. But it's really made for espresso coffee. So you can do either one. I do all different kinds of espresso coffees. I happen to have this Latin coffee, Cafe Bustelo. It's really inexpensive, and it's nice and strong, and I just love it. I can't remember where it's actually from. I mean, this I grew up having too, because a lot of Puerto Rican people have this in their house. But I do the Lavazza for an Italian espresso. The Starbucks coffee, you can get their espresso, whatever you choose. I mean, I have my favorites. I have my least favorites. Then you just need to spoon it in. So let me look. Oh, I set aside a spoon here. So you're going to spoon it in, and here's where it gets a little tricky, or you can, make it how you like. So now the tip that I got when I was young and learning how to make this from my aunt in Italy, she said, don't ever pack it in, because when you pack it in, it becomes really strong and it can be bitter. So I never pack my coffee in. In fact, I don't fill this up completely because I don't want it like that strong. I never fill it to the top. In fact, what she told me back then was, fill it how you like it, don't pack it in, and then just use your spoon to kind of chop it up a little bit. I don't know what that actually does. Maybe it creates more air, but that's just what I do. It's like a habit now, and I think that's just so that it's not packed in. It's a little bit ventilated. Again, sometimes we just do things because of habit, but I think there's a science behind that somehow. Excuse me. And then you just twist the top on. Okay, nice and tight, not too tight because these things are a bit fragile. And put it on like a medium-high heat. Not too high, not too low. If you do too low, it takes forever to percolate. So what's going to happen, sorry, I should show you this. What's going to happen is that, see the hole here? The coffee is going to actually mix with the water, and then it's going to percolate out. It's going to kind of spout like this. So you don't want to leave this open, because then it will splatter all over you. So I put it on like a medium-high heat, and that prevents it from splashing, because even a high heat closed, this thing, can get coffee everywhere. And then too low wouldn't, it would just sit and kind of just it would just take forever. So that's it. And it takes like a few minutes. It's so simple and easy. And so, we can wait. And since I don't always have people on YouTube, usually I do Facebook, I have one person, Muslim Proud Tobe. Oh, why did you sit down? Hello. I'm trying to be more YouTube-y over here. I need to do more videos for you guys. And now I'm sort of in the mode, and I promise, inshallah, I'm going to do more. And then trick from my mom is always to put the coffee back in the freezer. She keeps all the coffee in the freezer to keep it fresh. And it doesn't make it hard that, to the point where you can't, use the coffee. It just keeps it nice and fresh. So I do that because, moms are usually right about a lot of things. Okay, so now when it comes to serving the coffee, you can either have your straight coffee in like your little espresso cups, or if you're like me, I drink it cappuccino style, so I add milk. And in Italy they do the cappuccino just in the mornings. They don't have it in the afternoons, but I can drink this kind of all day, and I do a couple of cups, probably more than I should, but as long as it's not too strong, it's okay for me. I have a friend who she actually told me to do half decaf and half regular, and that is very helpful because I get a little jittery when I have too much caffeine. So I'm going to start doing that, but I need to grind my decaf coffee beans. And decaf coffee beans are, they're kind of harder to find, actually. I'm really surprised by that. But anyway, so then I warm up my milk. You can warm it up any way you like. I like to do it in a Turkish coffee pot just because it's pretty and it does the job just fine. So I'm not going to do it now, but I would fill that with how much ever milk I want. And then it's really just important to have the color of coffee that you like. So, like some people like the blonde coffee where it's like lighter in color. So it's less coffee, more milk. And that's all you do, really. That's all you do. You just warm up your milk or your almond milk or whatever cream you have or you like. And then what I like about these two gadgets, again, not taking up a lot of space. Oh, maybe I should turn the camera so you guys can see. There. Sorry. So what I like about this is there's just two gadgets that, aren't very cumbersome. And then you can just literally, because this has a pouring spout, you can literally just pour in and combine and make the color of the coffee that you like. So that's really it. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And I'm fascinated that so many people wanted to know, about how to make this coffee in the mocha. So maybe I should wait until this kind of actually percolates, and then I can show you how I make my coffee color. So let me warm up some milk, and I can answer some questions if there are people here. It's Muslim proud to be, and I have been reading your halal food recipes for ages. Great that you're making YouTube videos about it. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, I've really been sort of video shy most of the time. But technology is making it easier and more like, you have to start doing this kind of thing. So, but it's good. It's good. I like to teach. It just, I just sometimes want things to be so perfect, and then I wait too long and I never get to it. So that's going to change. Inshallah, I'm going to really be doing more. I have a lot of great Turkish recipes I want to share since I've been in Turkey for the last year and a half, and I feel like, there's a lot of things I want to share more of and so on. So, we will see. Whoops, I turned on the wrong burner. I'm so not used to electric stoves. Getting used to it, we got to be adaptable to everything. So, okay, so that's warming up and that's warming up. I'm going to go grab my coffee cup. And if there are any more questions about anything, just go ahead and ask them. So give me a second while I grab my coffee cup. All right. So things don't always have to be perfect, right? Just have to be done. So I think one of my next videos might be about Turkish tea and making Turkish tea, because many of you have asked me also about the proper way of making Turkish tea, which I learned, and I thought I knew how to make Turkish tea, but it seems that I had a few things to learn. So maybe that's the next one that I'll do. Okay, there's a question coming. Sonic, yes, good job. Very interesting about the coffee pot maker. Where would you get it? Okay, good question. So, I don't know where you are, where you live, but they're really easy to find. I've actually found them in Turkey in the Migros grocery stores, but they're all on Amazon. You can find this one. My mom actually got for me from Amazon. And let's see, where do I see them all? TJ Maxx stores, home goods stores, they always have them. Of course, Italian shops, but those are kind of really rare these days, right, to find Italian shops. And they tend to be more expensive there. They tend to be cheaper in like a TJ Maxx. I think even Target sells them. If I'm not mistaken, I may have seen them in Target. And they should be no more than $20 for a big one or medium-sized one. This was considered more fancy. Actually, they're most of the time aluminum. And like the ones I have 3 that are all aluminum color, just the steel, the silver looking color. But they make them in all different colors now and sizes and materials, plastics. I don't like the plastics at all. I like them to be all metal for some reason. It just has more of that rustic feel. But one thing you want to also make sure of, and I've done it so many times by accident, is if you have a gas flame, the handle can burn. This can melt. So you want to make sure that's away from the flame. And like I said, I've done it many, many times. So just be careful. But with the electric stove, it's a little bit less of an issue. So let's see. Yeah, it's already brewing. Oh gosh, I wish I could show you guys. It's not going to splash because it's on medium high. But if you guys could see, I don't think you can. You can see the steam. But the coffee's coming out on both sides. Let's just close it. So my milk is warming. Do you hear it? I love that sound. Oh, I love that sound. And the smell is amazing. I think I'm just more addicted to the smell of coffee than actually the caffeine of it. I don't feel like I always need the caffeine, but I just love the smell. There's something about starting the day with a nice cup of coffee. But in Turkey, you have to eat first, which is a really good habit because, the word for Turkish breakfast is kahvaltı, and it actually means if I'm not mistaken, it means before coffee. So you eat first, fill your stomach, and then have coffee. So there's not all this acid in your empty stomach. And I think that's a fantastic habit that I've now gotten into where I make sure I eat first and then have coffee. I feel a lot better that way. It feels like the caffeine doesn't go straight to my veins or something like that. Okay. My kitty is demanding attention. Texas. Cool. Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, the smell is better. Smell is better. What do you mean by which smell is better? Coffee versus tea, or I'm not sure I understand. Okay, so here we have the coffee done. You want to turn it off as soon as it's done because you don't want it to be splashing around or anything. Now the milk, if you want to get it sort of like the Italian style, you want to get it a little frothy. So it's possible to get it frothy. You just have to wait and kind of do a slow boil. But sometimes when I'm just not patient enough to deal with that, and I don't care, and I just want my creamy looking coffee, I just go ahead and, I just wait until it's nice and warm. So in my case, what I'm doing, I like it not blonde, not too blonde, a little bit darker than blonde. That's just, I know the color of the coffee that I like. And when I see the color, I know it's going to taste the way I want. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I'm just a purist in that sense. I use organic whole milk. Sometimes I use half and half, but I'm trying to not use half and half. Not for any specific reason, just because half and half seems to be really only for coffee and maybe a few other recipes. So milk is more versatile for me. So it's like an economical thing. But some people use almond milk. I personally can't use any of the non-dairy products in my coffee. I don't know why. I just do not like the taste at all for some reason. Preference. Everything is preference. So as I do the milk first and then pour the coffee, because that's easier for me to see the color change. So you can give it a stir. And I don't fill this entire cup with coffee because it would be so much caffeine. Because remember, I'm using a strong coffee espresso, and if I were to do that, I would be jittery after this first cup. So I don't do that. I mean, really, you're supposed to just have a little bit of the espresso and more milk. So I know my color. This is too big of a cup to make the coffee, but just for purposes, I don't think you guys can really see my color of coffee. Probably not. Let's see. Can you see the color of coffee? I'm new at this YouTube live thing, but anyway, you get the point, right? You mix it up the way you want, you make it the way you want, and that's it. So that's all there is to it. I mean, it's super easy to make espresso at home, cappuccino at home, and you don't need $1,000 espresso machine maker. You don't even need a big, a space-taking gadget coffee maker. You just need the little Moka pot. That's it. I feel like I should make a commercial about the Moka pot. Great device, and no need to even plug it in. Just pop it on top of your stove and done. And look, it was literally like 5 minutes, right? So. Oh, the smell is better than the taste. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, the taste is pretty good too, but it is that smell that makes me feel like, oh, it's a brand new day. It kind of gives me like this motivation. Like the day is new. Yesterday, things may have been a certain way. And today, when there's a fresh cup of coffee, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, let's get this thing going and start over today. I don't know. Coffee just kind of has that thing for me. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this very first YouTube live for me. And let me know what other things you would like to learn. And, we'll take it from there. I think the next one will be the Turkish tea, because that's my other love. And we'll talk about the Turkish teapot next time. So we've got tea and coffee. I think we're good to go for today. All right. So thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.